Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pav Bamber here for PSB Sports. I'm with the head of Sky Boxing, Mr. Adam Smith. How are you, Adam?
I'm very good, very excited about what's going to happen in 48, 50 hours time. I mean, listen, it's a terrific event. It's wonderful to have Gennady Golovkin with us in London for the very first time. I think it's a real treat. And it's a treat to have a story. Somebody who's daring to be great in Brook, somebody who's leaping up 2 weight divisions to try and achieve his dream, which is to become a legend, to become somebody who does something that few others have achieved. The impossible, many think. People are writing him off, they're giving him no chance at all. We've learnt over the years not to write anybody off in this game. It is a very, very, very hard ask for Brook. And your head and everything on paper says Golovkin should win and win comfortably. But you never know. And with Brendan Ingle fighters on that Winkerbank gym, the hill there in Sheffield, which has produced so many greats, Harold Bobakray, Prince Nassim Hamed, Johnny Nelson, our own, Ryan Rhodes, Junior Witt, Ishan Pickering, so many great times up there. I'd never write a Brendan Ingle fighter off. Certainly not one with the ability of Brook.
Absolutely, Adam. And Adam, obviously, you know, Golovkin's got a 91% knockout rate. Previously, I've interviewed a few people here today, and they're claiming that he looks a bit drained in the face. Kel looks big, strong and energized. Also, the open workout, if you notice, when Kel was in the pads with Dominic, it's as if he was imagining Gennady in front of him. What have you made so far of the body language of both Gennady and Kel?
I've known both of them a long time. Kel, since he was 9 years old, I remember him walking on his hands through the Winkerbank gym, doing the tricks that Brendan taught them for confidence building exercises. I like Kel in this build-up. I think that he's obviously not had to drain himself down. He's been able to perform at the weight or a higher weight that he's more comfortable at. He's obviously scientifically looked at how to do this. Interesting what Abel Sanchez said, that 10 weeks of a scientific experiment is not going to work. Listen, I haven't been around Gennady. My team have been over in Big Bear for this camp, but I'd expect him to be 100% as he always is. Johnny mentioned that he thought he looked gaunt. I was sitting the other side, and I was more interested in Kel's body language. I thought Kel was nervous, and that's not a bad sign a couple of days out. It's starting to dawn on him. I think fighting, not scared, but fighting with fear is going to bring the best out in him. He's got to be sharp. To have any chance, he's got to be sharp. He's got to be quick. He's got to frustrate Golovkin. But I wouldn't read too much into that. I think it'll be interesting to see him on the scales tomorrow, and I think that Kel will look good on the scales. But the important thing comes to when it's 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds in. That's when we'll see whether the weight will prove too much of a problem for Kel, whether the power of Golovkin would have got through. I think body shots is interesting in this fight. I think Golovkin throws enormously crippling body shots. Matthew Macklin, our colleague, found that out. He said he'd never been hit anything like that, and that could be a problem for Kel. But equally, Kel could hit a bit, and he could certainly trouble Golovkin with uppercuts and speed, but will he be able to land those? Because Golovkin is a master of judging distance and manoeuvring his opponents into the area he wants them. So, as I said, an extraordinarily tough task for Brook, but one I know he is absolutely relishing.
Also, Adam, in previous people, when I've asked them for their prediction for the fight, the majority are saying Kel early, Golovkin late. For your money, Adam, what are the main factors that are going to define the fight with Kel and Gennady?
I'm commentating on the fight along with Paulie and Carl, so it's not really fair to give a prediction like that. But what I can say is that I think Kel's best chance is to win the fight, if he can win them. There's 2 ways of looking at it. One, when he's strong and fresh, he tries to shock Golovkin early, but that's high risk, and he could end up getting knocked out early. But we don't know what Golovkin's like, under real pressure, under real drive. Some people say that his opponents haven't been the best in the last few years. I disagree. I think there's some good fighters that he's gone in with, the likes of Curtis Stevens, David Lemieux. They're decent fighters, But I think, we haven't seen Golovkin on any real sustained pressure. Can Kel do that early? High risk. Likely it doesn't work. Or does he try what most people think he'll do, and that is to outsmart, outquick, outspeed, use his feet are so important in this fight, and try and find a way to win on points over 12 rounds. That's the sort of most sensible option you'd have thought that they're working on. The danger for that is the middle rounds and getting through that. I spoke to Nathan Cleverly last week when I was out in Germany, and he said he found it really hard against Tony Bellew the second time when he was manufactured as the cruiserweight. He said in training, in sparring against heavyweights, he was fine. When he got in the ring with the smaller gloves under the lights, with a big guy leaning on him, he said it really started to take its toll, 5, 6, 7. And you saw how clever he came back and went the distance with Fonfara back at his natural weight. So interesting that after 5, 6, 7 rounds is going to be a real problem for Kel. It's difficult either way of looking at it. You know, no one's really expecting him to pull it off, which makes it if he wins, it would be one of the great wins of all time, one of the biggest upsets. It's a big if, but never, as I said to you earlier, write a Winkerbank fighter off, especially one with the arsenal that Kell Brook has. I'll leave you with this. I think Kell Brook's the most talented, naturally talented fighter to meet Gennady Golovkin as a pro. But he is a welterweight coming up, and Golovkin's special.
Adam, we'll leave it on that. Thank you very much for talking to me, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.